Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Insanin, and today we're talking about Ubel Blatt, which is a dark fantasy manga written and drawn by etorouji Shiono. It was serialized from 2004 to 2019, and it was collected into 24 volumes. The release you see next to me was the one by Yen Press. It started with volume 0 and went all the way to 11, and it has 2 volumes each. We're going to go over a brief, spoiler-free setup of the story, and then get into the review. The story follows our main protagonist, Coin Zell, on his mission for revenge against his fellow knights who betrayed him in the past. 20 years ago, the Saladin Empire sent 14 warriors armed with holy lances to the edge of their country in hopes of stopping the evil neighboring land of Wishtek, a place of dark magic, witchcraft, and wild beasts, from invading any further. Coin Zell was one of these knights, but at the time was known as the Blattmeister Asheret. Now, 3 of the 14 warriors died along the way, and as the remaining 11 entered the forest of Wishtek, 7 of the warriors called it quits when the mission became too dangerous. Asheret was one of the brave 4 who continued onwards, and they alone completed their mission and arose victorious. However, on their way back, the 7 cowards were awaiting them and confronted the 4 brave warriors, catching them off guard and murdering them in cold blood. The 7 surviving warriors returned to the kingdom telling their own story of how things went down. They would go on to be named the 7 heroes of the kingdom, while the 4 they murdered would go down in history as the 4 traitorous lances. Little did they know that Asheret, limbless and on the verge of death, devoured a forest-dwelling fairy and has spent the last 20 years forming an unstable new body and plotting his revenge. He assumes the name Coin Zell and sets off to avenge the deaths of his fallen comrades. And that's basically the setup. The story takes place in a fantasy and magical world, complete with everything most dark fantasy buffs would want. There's political drama, wars on massive scales, floating castles, sexy warriors, elves, magic, gods, mysterious forests, dragons, mythical beasts, evil creatures, more nudity than you could ask for, and a revenge story full of blood and gory goodness. So the best way I can describe Ubel Blatt is an incredibly edgy version of Lord of the Rings with a lot of blood, gore, nudity, and sex. It's almost like an X-rated Lord of the Rings. Some of it's tasteful, some of it's not tasteful, some of it's completely unnecessary. But you know what? It's a part of Ubel Blatt's charm. The artwork is fantastic. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed the artwork. The character design is super cool. All the different elements of the story I thought were executed pretty well. The world building is super awesome. A lot of the supporting cast I really enjoyed, and some of them are actually like really good characters that I will remember for a while. And they share some epic moments with Coin Zell and just throughout the story in general. Some more than others, especially Ott. I really enjoyed Ott, and she has some pretty cool moments throughout the story. I kind of wish she had more moments and character development, but it is what it is. It really does have that Lord of the Rings vibe where you're kind of given this landscape of this giant map of this part of the world you're talking about, and it goes through the lore and the history of it, how things came to be. I just thought it was really cool. Like you could do a lot with this world that etorouji set up. It starts off as a simple revenge tale, and it does it pretty well. It definitely turns into something more along the way, especially when you get into the backstories of the main characters and the heroes and stuff like that, and what's been going on in the Empire since Coin Zell was betrayed. You see, most of the people have this idea of the heroes as being good guys, because they brought them out of a time of chaos and it's been mostly peaceful. But things are not what they seem. A lot of these heroes are pretty messed up, and a lot of their actions start coming to light as Coin Zell, tries to accomplish his revenge. And you really feel for Coin Zell. I'm not going to lie. You want this guy to get his revenge, and you like root for him the whole way. I thought the battle scenes were super cool. They're chaotic as hell. And sometimes you might not know exactly what's going on, but for the most part, I thought all the battle scenes were done pretty well. There's dragons flying around. There's magic being shot left and right, bow and arrows, soldiers on the ground. There's like airships in the air, floating freaking castles, shooting magic cannons at each other. Like, it gets pretty crazy and ridiculous. And the scale of some of these battles is incredible. And it's pretty cool just to see on paper. Etorouji's art, when he lays these battles out, is very enjoyable. And I can't think of another manga series that does these large-scale fantasy battles as well as this. Now, about 2/3 into the story, the mangaka took a hiatus. And there you can tell the difference of when he comes back, because the last 2/3 of the story is a very like fast-paced war scene montage that completes it. I was just enjoying the world building and the character development part of the story a lot. I would say I was enjoying it just as much as the action and the adventure parts of the story, but it was something that was giving the story heart. In the last 2/3, that stuff really just isn't there. It's really just, okay, we're going to jump from event to event to event to event to event to finish this story. It took away a little bit, but not enough that like I wouldn't reread the story again. It's just a fun read. Like, it's definitely a guilty pleasure read, I'd say, but you're constantly rooting for Coinzel. I was never bored. I always want to know what was happening next. I had fun the whole way through, and I just enjoyed it. It didn't make me like think too hard on things. It's not one of those deep reads. I would say it's definitely a must read for any dark fantasy fan, especially if they're looking for something on the more mature side, which is kind of hard to find. The only mature dark fantasies I can think of in manga are Berserk, Claymore, and Ubel Blatt. At least the ones that I've read. I might be missing one, obviously. So if you enjoyed those other two works, definitely give Ubel Blatt a shot. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like and comment and subscribe if you're new. And don't forget to check out the podcast we do every weekend. Stay tall, heavy, tough, everyone. I'll see you next time. Peace.